I've had mine for 6 years, 7 years maybe, and I love it. I very rarely paint with a brush. I do a little cutting in with brushes, but for the bulk of my painting, I use Wagner. They're the #1 name out there. This is our top of the line Flexio. The reason we call it the Flexio is a couple of reasons we do, because it's so easy to use, and it'll go anywhere and everywhere, but also the fact that the compressor actually is a little, basically sits on the ground. So you don't have to use the weight of the compressor in your hand. You are getting 2 paint sprayers included with this, all right? You are getting spray shields, you're getting the 15 feet of hose, because remember, the compressor just sits on the ground while you're doing your painting. This is their #1. It's the best way, in my opinion, to paint any project. First of all, it's clean. No more buckets. All you do is you take your paint, you pour it in. Put the top on, plug it in, start spraying. You can adjust the paint spray. They have this little Vario nozzle at the end where you can actually adjust the direction right here. So if you want to go up and down, or if you want to go left to right, you simply give it a little twist, and that will control the spray. You can use any type of paint in here. So whether you're using thicker paints, milk paints, whether you're using stain, you can use stain inside here as well. In my opinion, it's so much easier with a brush or a roller. You're up and down, you're down on the ground. With a paint sprayer, that's it. It's so easy. You can go up or down like this. You don't have to worry about it. You're using less paint because you're aerating the paint. You're not getting a gloopy, like nasty mess, right? You're not gonna get any lines when you're painting. So whether you're doing your deck, a wall, a door, furniture, crafting projects, you get even spray every time. They dropped the price even lower than my price that I had was $189. I am seeing this for the first time. They dropped the price to $169. And because on my flow sheet, it says $189. So they dropped the price even more. It is free shipping and handling. Let me introduce to our special guest. His name is Lou Caputo, and I want you all to prepare yourself to be wowed by how quickly and what the beautiful results Lou will get. Lou, Happy New Year, buddy. I haven't seen you.
Yeah, I know. Happy New Year to you.
Happy
I don't know
New
where
Year.
you've been. I missed you, man.
I was on vacation.
Good for you. I love to hear that. Yeah, this right here, first of all, yes, you paid more, okay? You don't have to now. This is the most powerful Flexio we've ever made. I love it because all the weight's on the ground, so all I'm doing is carrying something that weighs less than a milk jug in my hands right now, okay? I'm gonna paint this door real quick, and then I'm gonna do this wicker chair. And I wanna show you how fast this can do these jobs, okay? So the first thing I've gotta do is I've gotta bend down, I'm gonna turn on the turbine, then I've got a trigger here that's gonna actually release the paint. Watch this, watch how quickly I can do this. So you hear it come on right there, right? Now watch this. We're gonna come over to the door, and watch how quickly, there we go, I can paint this up and down, just like that guy. Now, it's painting this very evenly. It's getting a beautiful coat of paint on here. I'm gonna be able to do one pass on this in just a couple of seconds. There's not gonna be any rollers, there's no brushes, there's no stippling involved. I don't have to worry about any of that. Right down to the bottom, let's make sure we got the whole edge, and voila, boom, we are done. Now, look at that right there, how fast it was. It's gonna dry faster, and I'm using less paint to get the job done. Let's move on to the wicker chair real quick. And the reason I wanna do that is, watch how fast you can knock out projects. Wicker's a nightmare. Nobody wants to paint wicker, okay? Because it's got all these nooks and crannies and voids. So again, all we're gonna do is just turn on the turbine, the X-Boost turbine, the most powerful that we've got. And then, watch how quickly I can paint this chair. And you know what's nice about this too, is this is something that you'd actually put off for a long time to do, because, you know, when you have to paint wicker, there's a lot of stippling that has to go on here. You're in there with the brush, you're working twice as hard. All I'm doing is just guiding the Wagner Flexio 4000. Guy, look at this. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Let's call that done. What'd I do? Two different projects in about 2 minutes?
Lou, can you imagine doing that with a paintbrush? How long? No. First of all, you'd probably have half your paint would wind up on the floor because it would go in all the little cracks and crevices. It's the only way to do a wicker chair, right? What about like, you ever painted like shutters? There are so many little cracks and areas in a shutter that are so hard to get to that you have to get the stippling brush, and you gotta do all this and you gotta do all that. When you've got Wagner, you don't have to do that. Now, I know a lot of you out there, or a lot of you doubters are like, it can't be that easy. Let me tell you, I bought my first Wagner like 6 or 7 years ago. I was shocked, and I did the whole, I actually used it on my, outside of my screen porch. I did the entire stucco outside of my screen porch. And by the way, you can't paint stucco exterior with anything but a sprayer. You can't roll it, can't paint it with a brush. You have to use a sprayer. So, and the reason you want to do that is, first of all, you don't want a gloppy mess. It's the only way to really get good coverage. But because a sprayer, just like a pressure washer, gets in every crack and crevice. It goes where a brush can't go. It goes where a roller can't go. It goes in and around corners. And Lou, I may be mistaken, but I think you told me the last time, you wind up using less paint with this system.
You do. Yeah, you do. When you inject the air into this, you actually use less product. Because when you're using a brush and a roller, it's wasteful. It's a very wasteful process. And then you got to go back and you got to put multiple coats on. With your Wagner, you're probably going to get one coat done. I mean, you can paint a whole room, four walls of a room. By the time you do get back to the first wall guy, it's already dry. Okay, so that's pretty amazing with this. But the other thing is the customizability of this. And this is something that you've seen on Wagners before. This one's even more so. If you look at this right here, and you were talking about this a moment ago, on top of this, I can vary the stream of this, like how wide or how narrow that stream's going to be, okay? So I can do that. Right here, I can control whether I'm going up and down or side to side. Back here, I can control how much product I'm actually using that's going through there. And of course, you've got your trigger down here. This all breaks down, by the way, in 5 minutes and 5 pieces. It's so simple to clean. But here's the thing that's new. Right here, we've got a dial on the turbine itself, so you can control the pressure, the force that's coming out of the turbine even. So this one is the most customizable we've ever done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this fence right here, okay? So I'm going to gradually stand up. I'm going to turn this on. You ready? And we're going to paint the fence. All right, here we go. Watch this. I'm going to go up to the top of the fence here. And now, you know that wood sucks up anything you put on it. I'm actually using stain right now, guy. This isn't even paint, and it's not diluted. And that's something you can't do with most of your sprayers out there, but the Wagner, this is not a problem. And I want you to see how I can do one coat of paint, or one coat of stain, rather, on this, just like that. And the nice thing about this is that you can use stains, you can use chalk paint, milk paint, latex paint, varnishes, anything you want. Look at that, and we're going to call that done. Look at that. Now, Guy, imagine, hot summer day. How fast did I just paint my entire yard all the way out?
You're making Huck Finn jealous. Look at how quickly he painted that fence. I mean, honestly, you know, when it comes to painting, I don't think there's anybody that thinks painting is like super relaxing. So, you know, it's not something you want to do for 3 hours, okay? It really isn't. You know, there are certain chores that you do. I like fishing. I can go out fish for hours. And painting is one of those things you just want to get it done. So time is money, all right? When you watch anybody out there that paints for a living, how many of them use a brush? How many of them use a roller? Very few, all right? Maybe to do some really rough... They know that they're saving paint by using a power sprayer. They're saving time. They get better results, all right, because it's even, because you're not glopping paint on there. Even with a roller, you're glopping paint. They do it because literally it's the best way to paint. And when you think about, Lou, you know, the projects in your house, these are big projects. I mean, if you wanted to, if you wanted to spray paint your garage, the exterior of your garage, I have a shed. I have a good sized shed. If I painted that with a roller, it would take me 4 hours. If I use a sprayer, it would probably take me 30 minutes. I mean, literally, the only thing would be I have to add more paint from time to time. That's the only downtime.
That's it.
But I mean, Lou, you can't go wrong with this.
No, you can't. And the nice thing is you're getting two different nozzles with this, okay? So this one that I've been using is called the iSpray. You're also getting what we call the detail nozzle. It's a much finer spray that comes out of this one. It's a little bit easier to control. But I'm going to show you right now how we can do a big project. Part of it I'm going to use the detail, part of it I'm going to use the iSpray. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the railing right here, okay? Because we decided it's summer, we're going to freshen things up, so here we go. I'm going to turn this on. Already got my paint loaded in here. And I want you to see how fast I can do this whole railing. Look at this. And what's nice about it is that it's spray on demand. So if I decide, okay, I want to take a look at it and stop, I can. If I want to hit the spray again, I can. All right, now, what I'm going to do is turn this off. I'm going to switch out the spray cups. All you've got to do is there's a little tab here. You press down, you rotate the handle, comes off. By the way, this hose is 15 feet long. So you got more than enough to like leave it in the center of the room and just walk around the whole thing. I'm going to put this on here. You're going to hear this click into place. Boom, just like that. We've now switched out. So you can switch out paint colors. I mean, there's so many ways you can use this. But I want the big nozzle to do the deck, right? Watch this. You know, and I recently painted a deck, Guy, with this. I used stain on mine.
Look at that.
This is paint. But my gosh, dude, it saved me so much time. Now look at that.
Wow.
I wouldn't even go over that a second time.
No.
That's enough paint right there. Done. I'm having a beer now.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know,
it's easy.
The reason a lot of people, and by the way, if you want to put a couple coats on, you can, but more often than not, the reason
Absolutely.
that people will put 2 coats on something is because it's uneven. Because you've got hand pressure, roller pressure, brush pressure. So you see marks, it's all uneven, so they go over it again. When you do it right the first time, 9 out of 10 times, you don't have to do it again. And let's talk about price. If you had somebody, and well, let me say this first. Why do you hire somebody to come and paint something for you? Be honest, because it's a pain in the you-know-what to do it yourself, right? It's hard. You got to haul buckets, you got to get on ladders, you got to do it. When you have a paint sprayer, it's so much easier, it's ridiculous. I mean, there are very few things where it's like, wow, this is like 100 times easier. And you get to do it yourself, and you get to do it on your schedule. And you're not paying a painter. Like if I had somebody come paint my shed, probably cost me $1,000. That's what I would, for supplies, probably $700 or $800 to paint it. They would probably be out there for 3 or 4 hours, but they're not gonna come out and do a job for $200, right? I could do it myself. If I own the sprayer with a couple of gallons of paint, I could do it myself, and I could do it when I want. I mean, it really is a great, I mean, I know it's a little bit of an investment, but get it, whether you're the painter, your husband, your wife, your partner, whoever does those kind of jobs, they will love this. And I will tell you, I was very concerned about cleanup. When I bought mine, and I even talked to Lou, because Lou's the one I bought it off. I said, Lou, I don't want to be soaking things and worrying. Lou, would you explain the cleanup when we're done?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This breaks down to 5 pieces, and it takes literally 5 minutes from the time you break it down to the time you just wash it in any kind of soapy water, and then it's good to go. I mean, it's the easiest thing to do, and you don't wash all of it. All you're doing is just washing the head end right here and the paint cup. That's it. The rest of this is good to go. You never have to worry about it. So if you think about it, Guy, the time you spend going to the store to buy rollers, to buy trays, you know what I mean? You don't have to worry about all that now, because when you want to paint, you can paint. You got it there. And I'll tell you something, when I first got this, the very first Wagner I sold, it came with this detail cup right here, the detail sprayer. Kelly, my wife Kelly's eyes, she's in the control room right now, her eyes lit up because she's a crafter. All right, let me show you how quickly you can upcycle something. We've got a pot right here. I'm going to take this from drab to amazing in just a second. I'm just going to turn this on. Now watch how quickly I can do this. We're going to start here at the bottom. And just look, watch this. I'm just going to go around this. And it makes it so simple to do. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Do the whole thing in just a couple seconds. Boom, and you're done. I mean, this thing is a crafter's delight. Everybody out there, if you're a crafter, you know somebody, you gotta get this.
I just had an image of you like on a potter's wheel just there. I don't know, it just, Lou the sculptor. Listen, whether you're a crafter, you know, you're an avid do-it-yourselfer, you know, listen, yeah, I could probably afford to get things painted, but you know what? I get much more pleasure out of doing it myself. I really do. You know, it's like, like even washing my own car. You know, like yeah, I could bring it to the car wash, but I like washing my own car. If you enjoy the process, because the process is not hard, then you'll enjoy the end result even more. If the process sucks, you're going to hire somebody to do it. I mean, listen, you know, although I was going to say, you know, I'm not going to grout my own shower, even though I did do that last time. I'll tell you, I don't know if I'd do it again, because grouting and all that is a tough job. But a paint shouldn't be that hard. We learn to paint when we're little kids, you know, but this is the grown-up version of enjoying painting. It really is. And the results, when you see, you know, your deck repainted in an hour versus hiring people to come out and do it and charge you $2,000, and you did it for the cost of paint, plus you bought the Wagner, you will be so proud of yourself. And remember, we're talking about interior and exterior. All right, this is not just an indoor painter. That you can paint anything you want. If you want to paint your deck, outdoor furniture, if you want to stain your Adirondack chairs, which I've done with a brush, and it's a pain in the backside, all right? And it's no fun. Because first of all, I don't want to be around that smell for hours and hours, which, you know, when you're using a urethane type thing, it's pretty strong. You don't have to do that because you're doing the job faster. You should wear a mask anyway, you know, even when you're not painting, but you get it. So you're getting the job done, you're getting the enjoyment of doing it yourself, and you're getting a way to do it that today is so affordable. Honest to gosh, I'm not gonna show you my card, but I had $189.95 as the discount. Lou, they dropped the price another $20, and it's free shipping and handling. Take advantage of it, get it now. Lou, we got about a minute left.
paint a louvered door, which is something you would never think you could do in a minute, but watch this. I'm going to turn on my turbine, and here we go. I got a lovely shade of blue loaded up today. Now notice this is actually getting underneath all the louvers as I go down here, guys. Look at this, getting down to the bottom, just like that, and we're done. Okay, wow. Did a whole louvered door in 30 seconds, okay?
Wow.
I'm going to do a stencil again.